And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now here in the CZ studios in front of the Patriot Mobile Platinum microphone. I am Mark Walters here at the Patriot Mobile Ranch. Greg in Dallas, Texas. How you doing today, my brother?
Not too bad. I can smell the weekend.
Can you smell the weekend? Because tomorrow the weekend begins. It is upon us, and you've got me kind of looking forward to the weekends now, too, and I don't generally like to do that. Hey, before we get started, let me shout out to Angeline in the chat. We are live, Angeline, not Memorex. So you don't have to worry about that. There's a shout out for you, Angeline. Guys, we are not, we're doing some platform testing, so you cannot watch us live right now, but the show will be posted after it airs today. So you'll be able to watch it on all of our regular platforms. That includes Facebook.com. Greg, you can do the rest and tell them where they can watch it. And it'll be just like watching it live. So go to Guns on Your Radio dials across the country, and you know where to pick it up digitally. Greg, take it away, and we'll go right to our first guest, Danielle Buck from Patriot Mobile.
Yeah, sure. Other places to watch the show are going to be YouTube and Rumble. Just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. You can watch us over at X at AARMark, or you can head over to the website, armedamericanradio.org or .com. Hit that menu icon and select your watch live or listen live option. If you'd like to get into the chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
That will do it. And the amplifiers are buzzing and humming here. The two Marshalls are fired up. I got about 150 watts ready to rock and roll. So let's get started. Danielle Buck. We love Danielle Buck from Patriot Mobile. Hi, Danielle. How are you? Welcome in today.
I'm doing great, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it is always a pleasure. Thank you for being here. We had to do a switcheroo with you today, and, that actually worked really well because our next guest coming up is Mark Cox from 97.1 FM radio, and he actually had a root canal earlier today, and he's probably still slobbering all over himself, so giving him that extra half hour worked out. So see how that works, Danielle? And you didn't even know that.
The numbness will wear off. Yeah, that numbness will wear off for him. No, it worked out great. Patriot Mobile is all over the place. I know. I think I saw you at the NRA show.
No.
But we have an event tonight that we're actually sponsoring. Yeah, you didn't see me?
No, and here's the thing. That's how busy everybody was. Let me explain before you get started.
Yeah, it was wild.
Well, so let's start with NRA, because obviously Patriot Mobile was there. Danielle, I was in my seat the entire time. I only walked the floor once, and that was to go get food, clear down the other aisle, or down the other end of the convention hall. And that was at about 4:45, right before it shut down. And that's because I had interviews coming at me, including the Attorney General of the United States, Todd Blanche, that were coming at me, and I had to be there because we never knew when they were going to pop in, right? They come in on their own time. And it was a mess, so I want to apologize in advance for not getting there. And here it worked out because I was talking with Josh.
And
so let's just get her in here, Let's get you and everybody in. So I apologize for that in advance. But let's talk about NRA. Tell us about it. Did you have fun
Not
there?
only did we have a massive booth, so much fun, so many amazing Patriots, but we also got to do some other things kind of different this year. We sponsored the prayer breakfast on Sunday morning. Which was really incredible. I mean, it was 1,500 people at 7 in the morning sitting in their seats praying and worshiping our Lord, and Patriot Mobile getting to kind of share a little bit of our personal testimony of why the Lord has led us to this mission and how we get to do that. And so it was awesome. We also got to be part of the corporate partners reception and speak to all of them about why they need to literally switch their entire companies to Patriot Mobile, because you think about it, we talk to a lot. And on average, we talk to a lot of individuals mostly. But these companies, think about how much money they're giving, our competitors, if you would, big woke companies that are using our dollars against us. And most of these guys are actually conservative, but they just don't think about it, right? They're just running so hard and fast. So it was really fun to be in that room. I met so many amazing Patriots, did a couple media hits while I was there, lots of our partners that we work with. We were in and out fast, and we actually got to have Forey J. Smith. I don't know if y'all know who that is, but he was on Yellowstone.
Yes.
His character's name was Lloyd.
Yes,
and
there it is.
He calls himself America's Cowboy, and he is America's Cowboy promoting America's Network on Patriot Mobile. So we just signed a deal with him. I got to interview him for our podcast about 2 weeks ago, and it's just incredible. Like the most down-to-earth guy. talking about, what makes America America and why supporting companies that support faith, family, and freedom is so important. And he was actually at our booth at NRA. We had a line wrapped around for, probably 2.5 hours to see him and take a picture and get his autograph. And we signed gun mats. Nobody needs another piece of paper lying around. Why not have a gun mat with a cool signature on it?
Yep.
But yeah, NRA was amazing. It was such a fun event.
Is that
can be exhausted and not travel, but that's not how we do things at Patriot Mobile. Since NRA, I've been to North Carolina at an event for Helping a Hero, which helps veterans who have disabilities, specifically those who've lost limbs, adaptive homes made for them. And it was an incredible event. I was there on Tuesday night, and we actually have an event tonight celebrating Freedom 250 with AFPI. It's a rodeo. It's a concert. Supposedly there's some people from the administration going to be there.
Wow.
It's actually in Fort Worth, Texas, which is nice because that's actually home for most of us. And so we have that coming up tonight. And then this weekend, actually tomorrow, I'm headed to New York City. Not to be there long, though, but just to celebrate on Ellis Island the legal immigration and the founding of our country. I actually had a great-grandmother who came through Ellis Island when she was 9 years old. And we get to do an event on Saturday night with Moms for Liberty, Mercury One, and American Journey Experience to celebrate America. And so it is a fun time to be part of Patriot Mobile, but I'm not getting a lot of sleep these days.
Yeah, good heavens. Let's backtrack just a few minutes, because as you know, just an NRA event alone, it can take a lot out of you, particularly when you have a booth. People don't understand what it's like working one of those booths during the entire time that a show is active. They're exhausting days. The hours just seem to roll into each other. It's almost like being in a time warp, right? And I know you know that feeling.
Yes,
now,
yes, especially when you have a line of people coming to talk to you, which is what always happens to me.
Well, I knew you had him from. Greg and I were talking about that last week because I could not remember his name, but I could see him, America's Cowboy. And when I did walk by, I saw you. I could see the Patriot Mobile booth, and there was a lot of people around that area. And I know it was all geared to you. Now, I won't ask you to name competitors because I don't like to name your competitors either. That includes AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. They didn't have booths there. I looked for them, Danielle. I did. I looked for them when I was walking, and yet again, I did not see them on the floor. They were not there. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a competitor of ours supporting the NRA, which is why it's so important for people that are listening to join Patriot Mobile. The company that you're likely paying right now with your cell phone bill every single month is using that dollars against you every single month. So people need to stop thinking it's going to be more difficult than it is. People need to stop thinking, it's going to take 3 hours. I have to go into a store. I want to bang my head against the wall. It's not like that anymore. It takes 20 minutes. You can do it from literally your recliner or your couch at home. And we can even text you a QR code with an eSIM now. It has become so easy. And we have all three of the major networks. So literally, when you think about, is it going to work? It's going to work. It's probably going to work better than what you have right now. What
I like about that is the service. Whenever I'm out, because guys, if you're watching, I have a Patriot Mobile phone here. You can see my Patriot Mobile hat on too, and I have a Patriot Mobile activated phone. And what I like about that is when I'm at a particular event, I have people go, "My darn phone, it just doesn't work in here." Mine does. It just does, and I don't know any other way to explain that. But have you ever thought about why? I mean, really thought about why the other companies seem to want to, and I'll just use this word, just diss half the country and not support what is the nation's, and it's not just the NRA, we're talking specifically about NRA now because we were both just there. But when you ignore the NRA, you're ignoring
anything
the nation's
anything,
but particularly this, you're ignoring literally the oldest civil rights organization in the United States of America. Have you ever thought really why they do that? How is that possibly good for business?
To be honest, I don't think that they care about everyday Americans. I think these people who are the executives of these large companies have bought into this woke indoctrination. They live in a little elitist bubble, most of them, where they care about what they care about funding, and they care about forcing that down the rest of our throats, and they use it by using our money, unfortunately. So I don't really think that they're actually thinking about the bottom line because they don't have to worry about the lines, most of them. individually or really as a corporation, because they just kind of have this endless supply.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's exactly what it is. It's fascinating.
We're just putting a spear in their side and saying, no, not this one, not this one. And it may be a handful of business at a time. But I tell you what, I really think that this past NRA, I think their shift is turning. I think more people are paying attention to where their dollars are going every month.
When we come back, I want to talk about that turn, that shift that you're feeling, because I'm feeling it also. We'll go into some greater detail. Guys, we're talking with Danielle Buck. We love Danielle Buck from Patriot Mobile, who is, I guess the theme when she comes on the program from now will be, where in the world is Danielle Buck? We'll be right back with Danielle. Don't go away. American Radio's Daily Defense continues right now here at the Patriot Mobile Command Center in front of the Patriot Mobile mic with my Patriot Mobile hat on here in the CZ studios in Georgia. Welcome back in. Always a pleasure to have our guest, Danielle Buck, here. But before we go back to Danielle, patriotmobile.com, patriotmobile.com/AAR. Make sure to join the revolution. And it is a revolution. We're talking with Danielle about this. And guys, this has been one of those things for me. Greg knows this. But when I look at companies that hate me, I question, particularly as I get older, why am I giving that company my money when they hate me? I don't know. Maybe it's an age thing. Maybe as you get older, you start to realize, I work hard for my money. I don't want people having my money that do not respect me. Patriot Mobile respects you. Listen to this conversation. We're talking about, and I'm not kidding about this, Danielle. Welcome back in. We're going to start your segments when you come back with where in the world is Danielle today? Because you're everywhere. Let's go back to what we were talking about relative to you feel this tide turning. I do too. There were a ton of announcements yesterday about the ATF, the administration, Todd Blanche, who I had the honor and privilege to interview at the NRA convention, and he told me off the record that something like this was going to happen, and lo and behold, he was right on the money. We have a new confirmed director. 34 gun controls, Biden-era gun controls, have been wiped out instantly with the stroke of a pen 34 times. Cicada is guaranteeing to protect the Second Amendment in this country. This is a breath of fresh air for gun owners. And guys, we're going to talk about it with Mark Cox coming up and again throughout the remainder of this week on Friday with Paul, and again in great detail on Sunday's program with a lot more information for you about it. But Danielle, I sense that too. And you got that from the floor. What did you feel? Tell me what you feel when you say the tide is turning. What do you mean by that?
I think there's just an energy right now with, being conservative isn't just something that we exhibit, when we vote. I think there is something of like, this needs to affect every bit of my life, because the other side is doing it in every bit of their lives. Mm-hmm. And I think we kind of have historically segmented it, right? Like we only have our work and we have our family and, maybe my things I watch or things I spend money on, but that doesn't really matter, right? And then I go vote my conservative values at the ballot box. And I think that there's just a shift of people realizing that if it doesn't envelop every part of my life, then we are going to lose. And I think there's kind of a desperation. That's what I see of like I better go all in if we're going to go out, and people who are excited about it, of like, hey, I want my country back and I'm willing to fight for it.
I think you're right. I get that same, I'm not really sure how to describe it. I'm going to say it's one of those gut feelings. And as you know, you've been around long enough to know this. And ladies and gentlemen, you have too, listeners. Particularly as you get older, you've learned to trust your gut instinct, right? Your gut is right 95% of the time. Mm-hmm. You can feel certain things, good or bad, and you can trust your gut for business instincts, personal, whatever it may be. And that old, if it walks like a duck or smells like a duck or talks like a duck, whatever, it's a duck. And you begin to understand that, wow, that's real. I'm going to learn to trust my gut. And my gut says the same thing to me is really the only way I can try to articulate that. But you have to get your head out of media, right? You can't be bogged down with all the nonsense. Danielle, you and I are talking now days after another attempt on President Trump's life. Yet again, and as much as I hate to say this, the rhetoric that I've seen since this one, and I say this one because there have been two prior to it, leads me to believe that there will likely be another attempt. The other side has lost their collective marbles, and that extends into corporate. It extends into television. Look at what's going on with ABC and Jimmy Kimmel alienating half the nation. At what point are they going to say, you know what? We just want a funny show and a funny person. What is happening out there?
I wonder the same thing, and I feel
so
like we're a boiling pot, and like at what point are we boiling the frog?
Yeah, right.
Is everyone going to be gone by the time we realize that it's been too late? And so I think that's why I think that people that are awake and are waking up are really waking up. They're not just waking up with how they need to vote. They're waking up with how they need to live, how they need to spend money, how they need to parent their kids, how they need to teach their kids to navigate this world that we live in now. I mean, as a mom, I think about that constantly, right? Like, how am I shaping my boys into the men that I want them to be, to go into this culture and make war against evil? I mean, whatever evil looks like, there's a lot of different faces of it right now, but I tell you what, we need warriors, and we need men that are willing to tell the truth, and women that are willing to tell the truth no matter what it costs. And that's why I think I'm so proud to work at Patriot Mobile and get to do this, is because I get to do that every day. And I get to do this in ways that, quite frankly, aren't always popular, right? But at the same time, by us putting an X on our back and saying, no, that's not right, and we're going to stand up against it, you get people that are like, oh, I wish I was that courageous. I mean, that event that we were at Tuesday night, we had companies coming up to us saying, I wish we could be more bold. And I'm like, be more bold.
Then be more bold.
Yeah, you may lose some business, but you'll gain some business, I promise.
Yeah.
And you'll have your, integrity at it during it. So I think it really is something that is just so important to fight, right? Like, it's important to fight for our children. It's important to fight for our future grandchildren. It's important to fight for our country. And I mean, we're sitting here celebrating America's 250 years. And think about the people that fought and died for that freedom. I think about that. I think about the people that came through Ellis Island to establish freedom.
Yeah. My grandfather,
they had nothing but the clothes on their back, most of them.
My grandpa did the same thing that your great-grandparents did. Same thing. And, left his wife at home, my grandmother, for 2 years, found himself after he came through Ellis Island when he came from Italy, and built a concrete construction company that is still in business to this day, the Lucenti and Sons business. Built half the city of Dayton, Ohio.
That's incredible.
And did it the right way, assimilated into this country.
Yeah.
And God, I wish we had another hour with you, because you brought something up that I could really talk with you about. And that is, the values. If you don't mind my asking, how old are your children?
They're 6 and 3.
Okay, those are great ages right now. Enjoy it, because you're going to blink like I did, and they're going to be 21 and 25, just like mine are. It goes by so quickly. But when they're that age, this is when you had better be thinking about these things, ladies and gentlemen. Very formative years. Yeah. How am I going to raise my children so that I know that if they get a job in California down the road, they're not going to come back a bunch of wacko lefties, because you've instilled values into them in advance, and they understand. Yeah. And here we're talking about businesses like Patriot Mobile that are growing like a weed for the very reasons, because you're focused on all the right things. And that is proof positive, ladies and gentlemen. Take it away. You can take us to the break.
Yeah, and you can be part of it. Like, I think that a lot of times people hear me speak, or they hear me talk, and they're like, oh my goodness, it's so amazing you get to do that. And I remind them, you can be part of what Patriot Mobile is doing too, by simply switching your cell phone bill over. Whether you're a family, whether you're a business, you can be part of something bigger than yourselves by joining us. We have all 3 of the major networks. You can bring your phone number. You can do it today. And every month you're going to be reminded of the why when you get the emails about the things that we're doing and supporting with your little bit of dollar. So join us today. Call 972-PATRIOT. We'd love to have you.
972-PATRIOT, ladies and gentlemen. Use that AAR promo code. Take advantage of all the great discounts. Danielle, we love you. Thank you for being here. We'll be back with Mark Cox, 97.1 FM radio, right after this. Filling your prescription for freedom today and every day here in the CZ studios, Monday through Friday, 4 to 5 Eastern, 1 to 2 Pacific. Yeah, in the Patriot Mobile Communication and Command Center. And I'm sitting here in front of this Patriot Mobile mic with my Patriot Mobile hat on, which I found today because my kids and my wife take it all the time. They're always stealing this very cool hat. Danielle Buck was wonderful at patriotmobile.com. Make sure to support this incredible company, patriotmobile.com. And you can do that real simple, patriotmobile.com/AAR, and it takes you right to the landing page. Read everything about their mission, which includes God, guns, guts, America, patriotism, the Second Amendment. They wear it right on the page, ladies and gentlemen. They're out there supporting your gun rights like crazy every single day all over the country. You can find them and all of our great partners at armedamericanradio.com. Joining me now, a good friend and someone that I love joining on his show every opportunity I get, and that is Mark Cox, 97.1 FM, the Mark Cox in the Morning Show with his sidekick, Kim St. Onge. And I just love you guys. And St. Louis, if you're tuned in, here he comes, Mark Cox. Welcome in, Mark. It's a pleasure, brother. How are you today, my friend? How's that tooth doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you, Mark, for being understanding on that. I did have to have a little dental procedure this morning, and I was a little worried about what it might do to my ability to talk to you today.
Well, I got to tell you, it worked out really well.
I'm all good.
It worked out really well because I got some of the handlers over there at Patriot said, hey, can we move Danielle to the top of the hour? And I said, I think that might work because my next guest just sent me a text saying he's drooling all over himself because of a dental procedure. Hey, I got to tell you, I love getting root canals. And I know a lot of people think I'm nuts when I say that, but that's because I rarely go to the dentist. I only go when I'm in severe pain. So getting a root canal is a gift to me. I don't mind root canals. I don't think I have any teeth left to get root canals in. So I feel you, brother. Oh, man, it can be brutal if you're not.
Hey, I got to tell you, Mark, they got this down to a science, brother. Didn't feel a thing. I mean, everybody jokes I'd rather have a root canal than, listen to Chuck Schumer. But to be real honest with you, I would rather have a root canal than listen to Chuck Schumer.
Exactly. There's truth in those words. A quick funny story. I was at a SHOT Show years ago in Orlando, Florida, and I was driving back up to Atlanta, and I needed a root canal, and it hit me the day before. And the pain was so bad. It took me about 16 hours to get home because I kept having to pull off the side of the road. The shots of pain going up, it was just an inadvertent movement. I couldn't help myself. The car I would lose control. It was bad. So I made an emergency appointment and drove right to an endodontist. And when he was done, I said, how much do I owe you? He said, $1,150. I said, well, you just got ripped off. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, because I would have given you $5,000 and my truck for that. Thank you. That's how bad it hurt, man. Anyway, hey, so big news yesterday, Mark, and we didn't get a chance to talk about this on your show on Tuesday morning, but the ATF, $400 million in cuts, 1,000+ people wiped out. Robert Cicada confirmed. And AWR is writing, Director Cicada takes jackhammer to Biden-era gun regs. And get this, probably the most satisfying headline of all. Brady campaign out there whining like crazy. Rolling back a Biden-era ATF regs fulfills gun industry's wish list. No, it doesn't, lady. It brings freedom back. Mark, this is big news, brother.
They don't know what freedom is. They have worked nonstop under the Biden administration to destroy the lives of mom and pop gun stores across America. I mean, honestly, you and I talked about it so much the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. Everything they were doing to try to pressure these true American patriots who are out there supporting the Second Amendment, and to see this kind of action. I mean, I love Todd Blanche. I love what he's doing at the DOJ. I mean, I love that we have an attorney general, and to know that we now have somebody at ATF. You got to wonder, and I know this was probably part of the plan. It's taken them a while to get the right person into that job, but maybe it was worth the wait. I mean, I have Congressman Eric Burleson on my show all the time, Mark, and he talks at length about ending the ATF, like just getting rid of it. He wants it gone. Well, I agree with him completely, but this is, at this point, the next best thing we could have hoped for.
Well, when I hear you mention that, let's kind of flip the script here, because as I was listening to you, I had not really thought about it in the way I'm going to try to articulate it right now. Maybe it's a good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, don't freak on me here, okay? Maybe it's a good thing we have an ATF now. How about an ATF that actually worked for us as a Second Amendment supportive branch in the government, that actually worked to expand and protect our rights, Mark? How about that? Let's explore that concept. I know that's like super bizarre in this world because the ATF has been coming after us for so long, but wow, maybe that could be a good thing?
Well, I guess it could. I mean, ultimately, I agree with Burleson. I think it ought to be broken up. There are other agencies individually that could deal with what regulations they need to have.
FBI, period. You're right.
As you know, as you know, in my book, that would be about 3 pages. And they don't need a booklet for the ATF. They need about 3 pages. And but if we're not going to get that, I agree with you. I mean, I'm anxious to see what all this guy does. But like the gun hole loophole, I mean, let's just talk about that for a minute. That's what the liberals claim they were trying to close under Biden. But that wasn't what it was about. It was about snuffing out the individual right for you and I to sell a gun to a neighbor if we want to. And they argued that somehow you're opening that up to criminality. Well, we know the truth. It's already illegal to sell a gun to somebody who can't own one.
Right.
If they enforce the law as it stands, you wouldn't need silly rules like that. So you know what they're really after. You know Brady and these other groups were pushing that for the simple reason that they knew it was a backdoor to strip you of your rights.
Yeah, and as we talked about Tuesday on your show, Mark Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM. Ladies and gentlemen, every day tune in to Mark Cox, 97.1. You can watch the show on X, or you can tune in and listen on Odyssey. It's there. Go get it. It's a fantastic show. Him and Kim just rip it up every single day. And Tuesdays, of course, is 2A Tuesdays, and you'll catch me on there following Todd Pyro every week or every other week anyway. We've been doing, and I heard you. That's been 4 years already. An entire high school education has gone by, right? I mean, think about that. It's crazy how time flies. But these are topics that Mark covers on a regular basis as well. And you're right. And I guess I should couch my previous statement with, if we're going to have an ATF, I'd rather have an ATF that's working for me until we can get rid of it. Let me phrase it that way. As far as I'm concerned, the ATF should be gonzo. They're doing nothing that the FBI already couldn't do, and paying a lot of people and wasting a lot of taxpayer dollars. But this was a huge step in the right direction. Over 34 different removals, additions, wiping out some gun control. And when you've got the Bradys screaming, you're on the right track. And, I had the opportunity, as you know, to interview Todd Blanche at the NRA convention. And after after the actual interview, we were talking a little bit about some of these things. And he reminded me, he said, Cicada's amazing. The guy's got more guns than gun shops I've been in, Okay, well.
That's what you want.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of lefties with guns too, but at the same time, we know his position. And talking with people like A.W.R. Hawkins from Breitbart who know him, who speak highly of him, we've got the right people in the right place. So what a refreshing place to be, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back from this break, we've got Mark Cox from 97.1 FM Talk in St. Louis. Fantastic radio station, great show every single day. Dare I say, the most popular drive time radio show in the mornings in the entire Midwest. It's the real deal, and it stretches all the way out into behind the blue lines there in Illinois. And guys, Mark Cox is the real deal, 97.1 FM Talk. We'll be back with Mark right after this. We'll give him a chance to go rinse his mouth out. But you sound good, Mark. I'm glad everything's working out from your root canal. We got Mark for one more segment. Don't go away. We'll be right back, guys. Indeed. Welcome back. Final segment of the Thursday edition of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is now upon us, segment number 4. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, welcome in. If you're rejoining us, welcome back to the final segment of the program on Thursday. We're going to be live for you again tomorrow, and should have the live streams back up as we do some testing for you. A lot of people like to watch the streams. It's algorithmic stuff, ladies and gentlemen, just trying to figure out other people's balls, bat, and field, because it's their ball, their bat, and their field, but we're playing with them, and that's cool. They're playing with us, so that works. It's a mutual thing. Guys, make sure to visit all of our great partners. You can find them all at armedamericanradio.com, blackoutcoffee.com. Before we go back to Mark, Greg, ask me how many cups of blackout I had today, and you know what happened to me throughout the entire night last night, so take that into account.
Yeah, I do. How many gallons of blackout coffee did you have to drink this morning?
I had 4 cups today.
That's almost a gallon.
4. And guys, I needed it. My dog kept me up every 45 minutes all night last night. So Blackout Coffee was there to save the day. blackoutcoffee.com/AAR. And don't forget, budsgunshop.com, POG Auctions, POG Auctions.com. And you just heard the rejoin from Attorneys on Retainer. Guys, I have the card. It's in my wallet today because I was carrying my gun. I didn't get a chance to pull it out, but I have it. And it means that little card means I carry up to 4 attorneys, a team of attorneys, over 100. But if I have to go to court, 4 attorneys will be at my table. 4. That's what that card represents. It's attorneys on retainer.us, attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. $37 a month. I've been short of yelling at you to get this done, which I'm not going to do, not today anyway. Just go do it, okay? Find it in your couch cushions, the change. Find it. It's there. You need this if you carry a firearm. Mark Cox in the morning on 97.1 FM. It's great to be here with you. So with all this positive news right now, what do you think the wacko, crazy left is going to do? Maybe not now because they're impotent right now, but they're holding the hope out for the midterms and a victory in 2028. Let's say the worst case scenario happens, Mark, that they take the House and Senate in the midterms in November and somehow they win the White House in 2028. What happens? Do they go right back to Biden-era gun control, clean it out, bring another anti-gunner in, and try to flip the script on Americans who have had their freedoms restored? That would lead to trouble. Them is fighting words.
It would, Mark, and that's a scary prospect that you bring up. Here's what I see happening. I love what happened here with Mr. Cicada, the ATF. I see the court decision yesterday regarding the Voter Rights Act as the reason to be optimistic, because you've got a Supreme Court now filled with people who are originalists, who are looking at the Constitution and seeing what holds up. Now, why is the left freaking out? I watched Hakeem Jeffries and other members yesterday. I know, I hate to bring his name up.
Oh, I know. Terrible.
It sickens me, right?
Yeah,
but I watch him stand up and claim that somehow this Supreme Court is out of control, and that they have, done this for simply racist reasons, not wanting black Americans to have representation in the U.S. Congress. And, you and I look at that and we understand what the court did, but moving forward, even if the worst case scenario happens in November, the Republicans are going to pick up anywhere from plus 10 to plus 19 seats before the next election in 2 years, before 28. Even if the Democrats, they'll try to impeach the president, they'll do all of that stuff if they were to take back the House this time around. But the cavalry is coming. And they're freaking out, not because it has anything to do with race, in my opinion, but because they see that their power is about to be stripped from them, and they're angry and they're lashing out. And I'm very optimistic moving forward that we have a great opportunity to control the United States House by a comfortable margin.
I hope you're right.
If not this year, certainly in 2 years.
So I hope you're right. Two things stand out as I'm listening to you analyze this. Number one, what's a little bit scary is you're seeing the rhetoric from Hakeem Jeffries, the warfare, the nonsense, the garbage, and then doubling and tripling down and how he doesn't care. Going after DeSantis, they, blank around, find out. Now, by the way, I can report, and I'm sure you're aware of this, but the Florida House yesterday just passed its resolution. It looks like it will go to the Senate, and DeSantis will sign it, but we'll add another 5 Republican seats in the state of Florida. They're not farting around down there, and that's a beautiful thing. But a rabid dog is very dangerous. A rabid dog bites. And that's the one thing that concerns me about the left. They're getting angrier and angrier and angrier, and what is that bite going to look like? Because they're not going to take it laying down. They're losing their power, as you said. Now, let's flip over to the Supreme Court real quick. I wonder, I have to wonder, is the Supreme Court paying, because they're human beings. They're watching what's happening as human beings, not just justices, Mark. Are they finally waking up and saying, you know what? It's time we end this. We have the power to end this. It's time we do this now. It's time we stop the cheat. It's time we stop the steal. It's time we go back to common sense. It's time we end this. And it looks almost like the conservative majority on the court has had enough and is actually taking action. What I want to see them do is bring the assault weapons bill into this, the hardware bill into this, so they can knock all these birds out with one stone, okay, and codify this stuff and make it the law of the land. But is the Supreme Court, do you get the sense that they're kind of feeling that way right now? I kind of do.
Boy, I hope so. That's so overdue. It's the next big thing. After this Voting Rights Act decision, after the birthright decision, which I see coming next. Now, I don't know if the Republicans, if Trump wins that one or not, but he's brought it to the attention of the American people. People know that's not right. That's not what it was intended for, and the court has a chance. Even if they don't win, we still have a chance to fix the questions on the census the next time around to ensure that we're only counting citizens. All of this counts toward the ultimate goal, which is to keep these left-wing wackos who would strip you of your Second Amendment rights, and if they had their way, their First Amendment rights. Mm-hmm. You know, this is going to be another summer of riots in the streets in America. That's what Hakeem Jeffries is calling for. Well, they want it to be just like the summer of 2020 leading into the election, Mark.
There's no question. When you have a person that's literally a few heartbeats away or a few votes away from controlling the House of Representatives as the Speaker with this type of rhetoric, this is extremely dangerous stuff. And I believe the Supreme Court, I just get this sense, I could be wrong about this, it's just my own personal opinion and my own gut feeling, Mark, that the Supreme Court is watching this as well and saying, no, this has to stop, or this country's headed to a very dangerous place that could include a physical fight. And I think the Supreme Court knows we have the ability and the responsibility to put a stop to this. I hope to God that that's true. Mark Cox in the morning, 97.1 FM. Mark, we love you. Thanks for being here.